Jackson's son has been put in the detention center. I don't know if he means something like YDC or the actual jail for more adults. What happens now, and how can Jackson help his son?
Certainly. Well, I think it's going to depend on at what point of his matter is he at the detention center. There's a possibility that once the offense has been committed, that a child can be detained at a local detention center, which would be our RYDC. And in that instance, you would be looking, if this is immediate and this has just happened, we would be looking to bring the child back to court almost immediately to have an official hearing to decide if we will continue to detain that child at the RYDC until we can, what we call, adjudicate them as delinquent. If in fact we do decide to hold them based on the information that we receive and we finding that it's necessary and needed to do so, then the child will remain until we come back to court for our next hearing, which would be an adjudication. For adults, it's kind of like, I guess, arraignment, where you would plead and you would enter your plea. Of course, we don't call children guilty. They are delinquent. And if in fact that happened, we would then go on to the next phase, our disposition, which in adult terms would be sentencing. And if it warranted it under the circumstances, the child could then potentially receive an order to serve additional time, or they could receive an order that would allow them to be released. Now, if the child has already completed that disposition and they're serving time in a detention center under the terms of their sentence, then they will remain. I would encourage the parent to be as involved as possible, make sure that they are contacting their child, speaking to them. I know we have some limitations now with COVID, and I would just encourage them to talk to their child and keep their spirits up.
Kelly, for parents with a teen watching, or maybe a teenage girl or guy, what is our youth detention center like?
Honestly, I like to tell the kids that come in front of me that it's kind of the equivalent of it's like a jail for children. If you're here locally, we only hold you there on a temporary basis. But if you've been sentenced, then we would look to take you to the YDC, which would be a more permanent, almost, you can look at that as like a prison, where you would stay on a more permanent basis. But it's not anywhere any of our children want to be. They're going to tell you when you wake up. They're going to tell you what you get to eat. They determine what you wear. They determine what you can do during the day. And there's not much. And so it's definitely not a place any of our young people want to be, even on a temporary basis.